These are NFL players who had major red flags coming out of college, and in the NFL, they proved everyone who doubted them was correct. Starting with Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel entered the NFL with serious red flags that scouts couldn't ignore. Draft analysts questioned his intangibles, noting he wasn't a leader by example and carried a sense of entitlement with prima donna arrogance. Reports highlighted his hard partying lifestyle and attraction to Hollywood's bright lights. Concerns about his discipline and work ethic were everywhere, and he admitted to watching zero film outside of the facility. The doubters were proven right immediately. Selected 22nd overall by Cleveland, Manziel compiled a dismal 2-6 record as a starter across 8 games. He threw for only 1,675 yards with 7 touchdowns against 7 interceptions, posting a 74.4 passer rating. In one of his first games as a rookie starting, he was catastrophic. 80 yards and 2 picks in a 30-0 blowout loss. Between showing up late to meetings, giving opponents the finger on national television, lying to coaches about partying videos, and missing mandatory concussion checkups to party in Vegas, he validated every character concern and was released after 2 seasons at just 23 years old. Manziel's NFL career was over before it even started. And someone else's career that was over before it started was Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow arrived with glaring mechanical flaws that experts warned would doom him. Analysts criticized his elongated, low-slung throwing motion and poor footwork. And scouts also noted that he turned his back to defenses, struggled in a pro-style offense, and his left-handed delivery meant his blindside protection would be weaker. His athleticism was overrated, and he wasn't the dual threat many believed he could possibly be, because in order to be a dual threat, you have to be good at running and also throwing. People felt he lacked the skills or talent to be an NFL starting quarterback, and still with that, Denver selected him 25th overall, trading up to grab him. The results proved the skeptics right. Over 3 seasons, Tebow completed just 48% of his passes for 2,422 yards with 17 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. His 2011 season epitomized the problem, a 46.5% completion rate with a 72.9 passer rating. Despite an improbable 7-4 record as Denver starter and 1 playoff victory, he never developed beyond his college skill set. By 2012, he was relegated to backup duty with the Jets before washing out of the league entirely at 25 years old. And even when he tried to make that brief comeback with the Jags, that didn't really pan out. And speaking of comeback tries and not really panning out is Aldon Smith, which is kind of surprising because he had a Hall of Fame start to his career. Aldon Smith possessed elite pass rushing talent at Missouri, but a pre-draft psych profile red flagged him as a high risk for off-field trouble. The report stated that he has some past experience with getting into trouble and is a higher risk than average for this sort of behavior in the future. The report warned his poor work ethic and lack of understanding between preparation and performance would limit his potential. San Francisco ignored the warning, selecting him 7th overall in 2011. Despite recording 47.5 sacks in his first 43 games, every character concern proved devastatingly accurate. Smith accumulated multiple DUI arrests, weapons charges, a bomb threat at LAX, domestic violence incidents, and substance abuse violations leading to an indefinite suspension. Released by both San Francisco and Oakland, his career ended at 31 years old. The psych profile was accurate. Smith's demons destroyed what should have been a Hall of Fame career, confirming every pre-draft red flag the 49ers chose to ignore. And in this next crew, we have 3 QBs taken from the past few drafts that haven't lived up to snuff at all, beginning with Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson possessed every physical tool imaginable: elite size at 6'4", 244 pounds, a cannon arm, and potential explosive dual threat ability that drew comparisons to Josh Allen and Cam Newton. He looked like a generational talent in the weight room and during his combine. But there are some huge concerns, and rightfully so. Richardson declared after just 1 season as Florida's starter, completing a dismal 54.7% of his passes with 24 touchdowns against 15 interceptions. There are questions as to why he entered the draft so early instead of developing further in college, and the accuracy concerns were glaring. Indianapolis picked him 4th overall in 2023, betting on potential over production. The doubters were proven right pretty quickly. Through 17 career games, Richardson has just completed 50.6% of his passes for 2,400 yards with 11 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, with some of his touchdowns being some of the most beautiful throws you've ever seen, and some of his other plays being the worst. His career passer rating sits at just 67.8, and he's already dealt with multiple injuries. At 23 years old with an 8-7 record as a starter, Richardson remains the exact same raw and accurate quarterback he was at Florida, just more expensive and injury prone. We have 2 more QBs from the same draft class here that come with injury concerns as well. Let's go with Penix to start. Michael Penix Jr. had undeniable arm talent, but scouts raised serious concerns that made him one of the draft's most polarizing prospects. His injury history was alarming: 2 ACL tears, a broken collarbone, and an AC joint separation during college. Some NFL evaluators had first-round grades on him, while others believed he could go in the mid-rounds. His age was another issue, turning 24 in May of his rookie year after 6 college seasons. Atlanta selected him 8th overall despite just signing Kirk Cousins to a massive contract, a move that shocked the football world. The concerns appear validated. Through 12 career starts, Michael Penix just has a 4-8 record with 2,757 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. His completion percentage sits at 59.6% with an 85.8 passer rating. Most damning, he suffered another ACL tear in 2025, his third, potentially shortening an already questionable career trajectory before it truly began. And there's another injury-prone QB now in JJ McCarthy. I'm sorry, in 9. But injuries weren't really his concern coming out of college. JJ McCarthy entered the draft with good physical tools, a nice arm, smooth athleticism, and natural pocket instincts. However, scouts raised significant questions about his limited experience and lack of sophistication. Over his college career, he attempted just 695 passes, far below what evaluators prefer. Most throws came off play action or RPOs, where targets were predetermined before the snap. It was also noticed that he struggled throwing to the left, and his completion percentage dropped from 56% to 42.5% on deep balls outside the numbers to his left. His processing speed lagged due to inexperience, requiring projection rather than proven ability. Minnesota still selected him 10th overall, and the detractors so far are 100% correct. He missed his whole rookie season due to a torn meniscus, and then through only starting 10 games in 2025, McCarthy completed just 57.6% of his passes for 1,632 yards with 11 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, a 72.6 passer rating. He was in and out of the lineup, and when he was playing, most of the time he looked lost. He's missed significant time with injuries and shown zero development beyond his rookie limitations. Still, only with 10 starts is very early, but right now, those who question his experience seem to have been proven right. Another player with some questions on experience too was Isaiah Simmons, but not because he didn't play in college, but more so what position he might play in the NFL. Isaiah Simmons was supposed to be the future defensive versatility. The Clemson product had elite physical tools, 6'4", 238 pounds with a 4.4 40-yard dash and 39-inch vertical. He lined up everywhere in college, linebacker, slot corner, free safety, even defensive line. But scouts questioned whether his versatility was actually a weakness. Could he excel at any single position, or was he just adequate everywhere? The concerns about finding a defined role became prophetic. Arizona selected him 8th overall in 2020, and the Cardinals never figured out where to play him. He bounced between linebacker, safety, and slot corner across 3 seasons, accumulating just 8.5 sacks and never making a Pro Bowl. After declining his 5th-year option, Arizona traded him to the Giants for merely a 7th-round pick, an embarrassing return for a top 10 selection. Now with Carolina after being cut by Green Bay, Simmons remains a journeyman at 27. The positionless defender became a player without a position, validating every pre-draft concern about his NFL fit. And speaking of embarrassing a little bit earlier, we have a run here of Raiders. And I'm sorry, Raiders fans. Starting with Clelin Ferrell. Clelin Ferrell was a productive college player at Clemson, but draft analysts questioned whether he deserved top 5 consideration. Most evaluators had him ranked significantly lower, viewing him as a solid but unspectacular prospect without elite pass rushing traits. It was noted he lacked the explosiveness and athleticism to dominate at the next level. Oakland shocked the football world by selecting him 4th overall in 2019, passing on elite defenders like Josh Allen, Devin White, Brian Burns, and Ed Oliver. The doubters were vindicated immediately. Ferrell posted 4.5 sacks as a rookie, then regressed to just 2 sacks in 2020. Over 4 seasons with the Raiders, he accumulated only 10 sacks, while never developing into the impact pass rusher they had envisioned. Oakland declined his 5th-year option and let him walk. Now a journeyman bouncing between San Francisco, Washington, and the Chargers, Ferrell has 21 career sacks across 7 seasons. Next up is Alex Leatherwood. Alex Leatherwood had elite physical tools from Alabama, but was questioned seriously on his technical concerns. Analysts noted that he had a heavy reliance on his outside hand and pass protection, poor punching technique with hands too low, and inconsistent angles on combo blocks. Many felt the Raiders had reached significantly by selecting him 17th overall in 2021. And the concerns? Right. Leatherwood struggled badly at right tackle before getting moved to guard. He committed 11 penalties as a rookie and allowed multiple sacks. His mechanical flaws never improved, and he couldn't generate leverage or power in his punch, making him vulnerable to simple chop moves. After just 1 season, Oakland released him, and he appeared in only 4 games with Chicago before washing out of the league at 23. And lastly in this crew, we have Damon Arnette. Damon Arnette really had one main concern, and that was character issues, with one scout calling him having a knucklehead mentality. His reputation at Ohio State was having an attitude problem and being hard to coach. Arnette himself admitted returning for his senior year to rewrite his legacy after previous behavioral concerns. Las Vegas selected him 19th overall in 2020, a widely criticized reach. The character concerns proved devastatingly accurate. Arnette accumulated just 29 tackles and 3 passes defended across 13 games in 2 seasons. Multiple lawsuits emerged, including a hit-and-run allegation and an altercation with a valet worker. After a video surfaced showing him holding guns and threatening someone's life, the Raiders released him in November of 2021, proving he just couldn't fix those problems at that time. Since we did the Raiders, next we have the Jets, and a run of some horrific players who in hindsight shouldn't have been surprising that they busted. We gotta start with Christian Hackenberg. Christian Hackenberg was called a mystery by NFL evaluators. Despite running a pro-style offense as a freshman under Bill O'Brien at Penn State, scouts questioned how he regressed so dramatically. His completion percentage dropped to 53.5% as a junior with alarming accuracy issues. He completed just 33% of his deep passes in 2014. Mechanical flaws plagued him. The Jets selected him 51st overall in 2016, still hoping to develop him. Everyone was right to be concerned though. Hackenberg never played a single NFL snap, and during OTAs he hit reporters with errant throws twice and nearly threw 6 interceptions in team drills. His accuracy problems never improved despite working with multiple QB coaches. After 2 seasons riding the bench, New York traded him to Oakland for conditional picks, and he was out of the league by 2018, somehow never playing a snap as a second rounder. Someone who unfortunately did take snaps was Vernon Gholston. Vernon Gholston had supernatural physical talent, a 4.58 40-yard dash, 42 inch vertical, and 37 bench press rep at 266 pounds, but scouts raised massive red flags about his effort and motor. One evaluator called him embarrassing and the laziest SOB I've ever seen, noting he disappeared for stretches despite recording 14 sacks at Ohio State. Even with that, the Jets selected him with the 6th overall pick in 2008, a decision that proved disastrous. Every concern was affirmed. Over 3 seasons, Gholston recorded 0 sacks, an unprecedented failure from a top 10 edge. He accumulated just 42 tackles across 45 games before being released, and the immense talent never translated because he refused to develop technique or play with consistent effort, becoming one of the biggest NFL draft busts in history. And speaking of immense talent not living up to expectations, we have Zach Wilson to round out this Jets section. Zach Wilson had elite arm talent, but people had questions. One former Jets scout called him a glorified high school QB who excels at sandlot football. Evaluators noted erratic ball placement with receivers constantly jumping and diving for passes, poor timing with too much air under throws, and an inability to succeed within structured offenses. His best moments came off platform when things got unscripted, and critics predicted he'd be an interception machine in the NFL, along with his schedule in 2020 being an absolute joke, which potentially juiced his numbers. The Jets selected him 2nd overall in 2021 ahead of 3 other QBs in the first round. Wilson posted a 12-21 record with 6,325 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 25 interceptions, along with a 73.1 passer rating. His 57% completion percentage ranks lowest among starting QBs during that span, and after flaming out in New York, he's now a backup in Miami, probably never going to be a starting QB again. A player we all kind of saw not panning out was Brandon Weeden of the Cleveland Browns though. Brandon Weeden was the most baffling first-round selection in recent memory. Everyone questioned why Cleveland would draft a 28-year-old QB in the first round. He'd be 29 before his rookie season even started. After spending years in minor league baseball, Weeden had just 13 college starts at Oklahoma State. Evaluators noted his limited experience, advanced age, and questionable upside made him the terrible investment for a first-round pick. The Browns didn't care and selected him 22nd overall in 2012, a decision that immediately drew criticism. Weeden went 5-15 as Cleveland's starter, throwing 23 touchdowns against 26 interceptions with a 71.8 passer rating over 2 seasons. His completion percentage sat at 56%, and he never developed beyond his rookie limitations. By age 30, he was already a backup, and Weeden bounced between Dallas and Houston as a journeyman, finishing his career with a 6-19 record, and he was out the league by 35, proving that drafting a 28-year-old QB in the first round was exactly as foolish as everyone predicted. Justin Blackmon had elite talent as Oklahoma State's star receiver, but scouts raised serious red flags about substance abuse. He was arrested in 2010 on a DUI charge, later reduced to underage alcohol possession. A former Bucs GM had a scout shadow Blackmon before the draft, who reported seeing him frequently at a bar near campus, enough to remove him from Tampa Bay's board entirely. Jacksonville ignored the warnings and traded up to select him 5th overall in 2012. The concerns proved unfortunately accurate. Blackmon was arrested for a DUI again less than a month after being drafted. Despite posting 93 catches for 1,280 yards across 20 games, he was suspended indefinitely in 2013 for his 3rd substance abuse violation. He never played another snap, washing out at 23. One of the biggest draft mistakes in Jags history, and Blackmon is just a sad story. Someone who was boom or bust but turned into bust was Dorial Green-Beckham. Dorial Green-Beckham had jaw-dropping physical tools, 6'5", 225 pounds with 4.4 speed and elite athleticism. But scouts raised massive red flags about his character and football IQ. He was arrested twice on marijuana charges at Missouri, dismissed from the team in April of 2014, transferred to Oklahoma, wasn't granted eligibility, then declared for the NFL draft. NFL Network's Mike Mayock noting, Beckham has no idea what he's doing, but he's changing games. The Titans didn't care and selected him 40th overall in 2015, betting on the potential. Over 2 seasons with Tennessee and Philadelphia, Green-Beckham caught just 68 passes for 941 yards and 6 touchdowns across 31 games. He never developed route running skills or football intelligence, being out of the league by age 23 as well. The immense talent meant absolutely nothing without dedication or understanding the game. We also have to mention John Ross here. John Ross broke Chris Johnson's combine record with a blistering 4.22 40-yard dash, but everyone was seriously concerned about his durability. He had undergone shoulder surgery, meniscus surgery on his right knee, ACL surgery on his left knee, and pulled a muscle during that record-breaking run. Cincinnati didn't really care though. They selected him 9th overall in 2017, ignoring all the warning signs. Ross played just 38 games across 6 seasons, catching only 63 passes for 963 yards and 11 touchdowns. Injuries constantly derailed him, and he appeared in 3 games as a rookie, missing most of 2 other seasons as well. For a top 10 pick, Ross was horrible, and the durability red flags were completely fair, becoming one of the biggest draft busts in Bengals history before retiring at age 27. From one AFC North team to another, we have Justin Gilbert. Justin Gilbert had elite physical tools from Oklahoma State, but scouts raised concerns about maturity and work ethic. His college defensive backs coach Van Malone warned teams pre-draft that Gilbert needed direction and a strong support system. There were also drinking concerns flagged before the draft. Cleveland selected him 8th overall in 2014, a decision that proved disastrous. Gilbert missed team meetings repeatedly, blaming being a hard sleeper. He accumulated just 39 tackles and 1 interception across 23 games over 2 seasons. Teammates called out his wasted rookie year. After constant discipline issues and lack of focus, Cleveland traded him to Pittsburgh for merely a 6th-round pick, an awful return for a top 10 selection who washed out at 25. Blake Bortles had prototypical size and mobility, but people raised concerns about his mechanics and consistency. His bad footwork and throwing mechanics frequently broke down, affecting accuracy and velocity. His long delivery, inconsistent ball placement, and inability to transfer weight properly were glaring issues. The deep ball often fluttered and missed targets, and analysts questioned his anticipation and noted he did extensive dinking and dunking at UCF with limited downfield attempts. But Jacksonville selected him 3rd overall in 2014. Over 5 seasons, Bortles posted a 24-49 record with 17,646 yards, 103 touchdowns, and 75 interceptions, an 80.6 passer rating, and his mechanics never improved. He remained the same inconsistent quarterback from college. Lastly, we have the biggest red flag in history with Aaron Hernandez. Aaron Hernandez had elite talent at Florida, but everyone raised massive red flags about character and associations. Multiple teams removed him from their draft boards entirely after background checks revealed concerning information. One GM said his scouts got negative reports indicating Hernandez attempted to mask drug use after flunking multiple marijuana tests. Another GM cited general concern about the people Hernandez associated with at Florida, with reports linking him to potential gang activities. Urban Meyer's staff tried managing him by pairing him with Tim Tebow on road trips and rooming with the Pouncey brothers, hoping positive influences would keep him straight. Coaches warned teams he needed to be surrounded by the right people and grew nervous when his Connecticut crowd came to Gainesville. New England selected him 113th overall in 2010, ignoring the warning signs. Despite posting 175 receptions for 1,956 yards and 18 touchdowns across 3 seasons, Hernandez was arrested for first degree in 2013, while also being investigated in a separate crime. The character red flags that multiple teams heeded became reality, validating every pre-draft warning about his dangerous associations, and he spent the rest of his life in jail. So there you have it, the players who proved the doubters right. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you're new.